place that light is afraid to touch, where the monsters beneath your bed and hiding behind your fear refuse to travel. Do you dare? Is your mind capable of the sights you will see? Is your body prepared for the sounds you will hear? Is your spirit up to the challenge of what you soon may feel? If so, have a seat. This is the Ghoul Kids Table.
Greetings, fellow insomniacs, and welcome to the table. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ghoul Kids Table, wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. I, of course, am your host. My name is Chunky Larry, and gearing up for the next wave of shows, we're going to be covering in detail the Scream franchise from the first one to the most recent episode of the film franchise. And it's kind of in those spirits that this week on the show, we are going to be doing a Ghoul Kids countdown just to get you guys ready for us going long form on all 6 of the Scream films. We are going to be doing a top 5 kills in the Scream franchise. We're obviously going to get into these kills as we review the films, but I've got somebody really cool hanging out with me on this episode. You may know him from the world of TikToks. He is the biggest supporter of Billy Loomis and his nipples, and Jason X. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Andrew Horror, how you doing, my man?
Hello. I'm doing great.
I knew you were a fan of Billy Loomis's nipples. I didn't really even have to ask you before I let in with that.
Just an astute assumption.
Yeah, I too am a fan of his nipples. These are things, especially when you're wearing a white shirt, you're looking for. You're looking for.
Yeah.
He's the only set of nipples that I was looking for in the film Scream.
Right.
not that that's something that we're going to be discussing next week, but anyway, neither here nor there. I know, again, also that we're going to be talking about this stuff when we get into this, but when was the first time you saw Scream?
The first time I saw Scream was, I actually vividly remember it, which is wild because Scream came out in 1996, so I would have been 5 years old. Maybe. I'm not sure exactly when the home video hit, because it would have been 97 that the home video hit, I think, because Scream came out in December, right?
Yeah, and it would have been late 97 because they did do an extended run in the theaters in 97.
Oh, yeah. So possibly 6 years old. I'm sorry if you can hear my dog barking. She's really loud. So 96. I don't know what she's barking at. 90. Okay, so I could have been 5 or 6. But so I saw it the first time on home video. We rented it from the Blockbuster, I believe. We rented it from Blockbuster, and my mom and my 2 sisters and I all watched it. My dad was at work, and my older sister always brings this up because she remembers it more than everybody else. My mom doesn't talk about it; she doesn't care. But one of the points are in the movie, I think, right after Casey Becker's death, our phone rang, and we all jumped, oh my god, and it was my dad calling from work, but she always remember that time we were watching Scream and dad called and we all got scared because we thought it was the killer. Well, I loved it since the first time I watched it. So
and so one of the things to me about the Scream franchise is that for the most part it's a guy with a fucking buck knife. He's primarily, dude in a mask with a knife, and that's kind of his go-to. But there are some really creative kills within that very plain template. And
Yeah,
I think that this is interesting because we get to highlight some of those, the ones that we kind of enjoyed the most, the areas that, because in its heart of hearts, this is, for me, I think, an entryway for a lot of people into the horror genre. It's a nice, safe first, set of films to really get into before you delve into deeper waters. And there's nothing wrong with the shallow waters with horror films. And I may be very critical over the next couple of weeks, but ultimately, the Scream franchise is a certain demographics first foray into horror. And if you're a fan of horror, you want to support horror in every fucking way that you can. So,
absolutely.
I know that I can be a little elitist, but it is a when you shit on somebody's favorite thing, it's shitty, and especially if you're doing it just to be like, oh, this is fucking corny.
Yeah,
um
there's definitely a difference just between having a disagreement and shitting on something for the sake of being
Edgy.
shitty. Yeah, edgy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just giving you guys a heads up that there's going to be high points and there's going to be really low points, like the franchise. But let's get into our number 5 in the Scream franchise top 5 kills. Do you want to go first?
I will go first, and let me first just say this is a spoiler for Scream 6.
It's at number 5, huh?
Yeah. Because I just saw I'm like, I don't want to put it high because maybe it'll change, like, it's fresh in my mind. It's a fresh kill that I haven't seen in the series before. So it's like, maybe it won't even be in my ranking later. But my number 5 is Annika from Scream 6. And you don't care about the spoiler, Larry. You haven't
No,
seen Scream
absolutely
6
not.
yet. And it's the ladder scene that you've probably, you don't watch trailers.
Nope.
Have you seen the Scream 6 trailer? Okay.
No.
So the ladder scene in Scream 6, it's just so there's a lot of tension, and it calls back to like the car scene in Scream 2 or the car scene in Scream 1 even, with that tension building, and it's so drawn out that you're like, ugh, I'm loving it, but I want it to be over because my heart is pounding out of my chest. And there's a moment like right before she dies where it just keeps screaming, "I don't want to die," and
Mm.
it's like it pulls at your heartstrings, and and then when she finally does, because Ghostface is like on the other side of the ladder, they're trying to cross between two buildings
Hmm.
to escape Ghostface, and go there. She's like halfway across the ladder, and then Ghostface just appears behind her and like grabs the ladder and starts shaking it, and then she falls multiple stories down. Then we see her head and like neck snap when she hits a dumpster, and
Ooh.
it shows it. And I think it's brutal, it's heartbreaking, and I loved it. And I loved it.
And so, the Scream franchise does a really good job of trying to create relationships and people that you're invested in. Some of the latter films did a lesser job of that,
Mhm.
but that is kind of a forefront mentality on these films, which makes, when somebody's taken off the board, it much more impactful. Like, I was originally going to have Randy on this list, but I couldn't, because it's you don't really see anything, but it's kind of what it means to the overall franchise that would put it high on my list, because it's just an
Right.
emotional connection that you have with the characters, and that's what I always preach about. My number 5 is Officer Richards, I believe his name is, from Scream 2. He's the one who they're getting ready to go, and the other officer's like, don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
And just like violence, and then Officer Richards is on the hood of the car, and he's fighting and Ghostface just plows into a uh fucking construction site, and the pipe goes right through his fucking head. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, yes. I remember watching it in the theater, and I remember watching it fucking in preparation for these conversations we're gonna be having. And each time it's just like, yes. It's such a it's so well done. It's in terms of like violence, it's something that's outside of the realm of what they've been doing up to this point. And also uh in terms of execution, it's so perfectly done. But what are you coming in with for number 4?
Number 4 is Sydney's assistant manager, whatever she's supposed to be from Scream 4.
Mm,
Um, it starts off pretty basic with just a stab. All right. And well, I do love the whole garage scene. I think it's creepy. But we're talking about the kill here, all right?
mm,
The way he finishes her off is by throwing her off the out of the parking garage on top of the news van, and I love it. I
yeah.
love it.
The timing of it and everything about that
Mhm.
scene really works. And you mentioned the scene leading up to her actual death. It can't be understated. That fucking scene works.
It
It's
does.
really well done. The timing, the pacing, and everything about um, her death effective. Uh, for me, my number 4 is going to be Tatum from the original Scream.
Okay.
And again, this is an iconic scene that like it should probably be higher on the list if we're being perfectly honest. But I just the way that they do the effect of her going up into the garage, it is you've never seen it in the films before, or well, in films really. And
Yeah.
it's creative, but it's also visually well done. Like it, she looks kind of like a dummy when the head kind of makes contact, but yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah. And I'll speak to the dummy thing. I kind of like it when you see stuff like that. Like, oh, that's obviously fake. I don't know. It just adds to the charm for me. I don't know. As a 80s slasher fan,
Yeah.
kind of, I don't know. I mean, in Scream, it's different because that's not what Scream is. I mean, it's a commentary on slashers and stuff, but I don't know. That's just me. That's just my
It
opinion.
reminds me of the kill in Friday the 13th 3D when the boyfriend gets his head squished and the eyeball pops out,
Oh yeah.
for the effect of the 3D. But like that's what it feels like, reminiscent in terms of like the the feeling it evoked when it happened, and it's super effective.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
For my number 3, I'm going to go with Jill from Scream 4. That's a fucking great kill. That's
It is a good one.
a really good fucking kill. They, I mean, you could lay out the whole fucking piece where she's, stabbing herself in the wall and throwing her head into the fucking window and then throwing herself through the table. And, but the fight that she actually has with Sydney in that hospital scene,
Hmm.
and then the payoff of you know the fucking can I just say one thing? Clear. Clear.
Yeah.
Clear. Bah!
Fuck yeah.
Just I fucking love that shit. Because
Fuck yeah.
it's good final girl shit for Sydney. And she in every single film has to have that moment where she defeats the bad guys and she has like some pithy remark that she makes, like she's Freddy Krueger of killing murderers.
Yeah. Right.
Don't fuck with the
Absolutely.
original. I think that's what she
Yeah.
says. Yeah.
Yep. That's what she says. Love
Uh,
it.
but yeah, and then she's not even the one that shoots her in the head, right? It's Dewey.
Is it Dewey? I
I think
just
it's
watched
Dewey.
I just watched Scream 4 like 2 weeks ago. I don't even there's so much that happens in that final act, kind of like if you consider the whole end, like at the house and the hospital, the final act, there's like
Uh,
so much in there. It's hard to keep track of it all sometimes, even though I love it.
uh,
Okay.
but what is your number three?
My number three is the 100% death of Stu Macher in Scream 1996.
That's funny because that's my number two.
Is
Scott.
Yeah, I mean, dude got a TV thrown on him.
Yeah, like we had talked about this on live the other night.
Yeah.
We were talking about when the fucking shit happened. If you drop a fucking one of those TVs on your feet, you got a broken toe. Easy.
Yeah.
Like that's clearly gonna crush your skull and electrocute you after you've been stabbed multiple times.
Yes.
Uh, I I love Scott so much. I think he's a great guy. But please don't say this for Scream 7, Scott.
Oh God. Yeah. And I know we're just talking about the death here, but Stu and the whole final act is my favorite part of the final act. Just everything. I'm feeling woozy, all the
I,
ad lib lines he said and stuff.
I feel like, and I'm sure we're gonna get into this, next week, but I feel like it kind
Mhm.
of detracts a little bit from what should be a climactic showdown between the killers and the hero. But yeah, no, it's great. It's
It's great.
fucking it's terrific.
I love it.
But
I love it.
what's your number two?
My number two is Tatum.
See, should have ranked higher.
Everything you said. Again, it's just so creative that somebody's mind came up with that and it's like, let's kill her with a garage door, and she's going through the doggy door. It's just so great. And I love the garage scene, the whole garage scene where she's throwing beer bottles and shit at him, and it's like he doesn't know what to do. He's like, well, fuck, she's getting away. And then he looks up, he's like, oh, let's see if this works. It's like an experimental kill on Ghostface's part, and he succeeds
Uh, and
to great effect.
I think, and I could be wrong, but I think we probably both have the same number one.
We might.
So what we're gonna do, just for the added suspense, because this is a horror podcast, we're gonna add some suspense to this. We're gonna count down from three, and then we're gonna say it at the same time. You ready?
Okay.
Our number one is three, two, one. Casey Becker.
Casey Becker. Absolutely.
It is the
Obviously,
best fucking kill in this entire franchise. And it's the
it
first fucking
is.
kill in this entire
It's
franchise.
it's one of my favorite horror movie openings ever. It's my favorite Scream opening. It's so just still it's genuinely creepy to me because I think of like sitting home alone late at night and somebody starts fucking with you. You think it's a joke at first, and then your boyfriend's dead out on the patio. You know?
That's all sprawled out and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the mom hearing her daughter's like dying gasps,
Yeah.
and that it's just like, that's rad. That's fucking
Yeah.
rad.
It
Uh,
still gets me.
and
Still gets
the intestines hanging out. It's just like,
me.
yeah. So I was a little bit older than you, um, like quite a bit older than you. So when you were saying, yeah, I was like 6 years old, I was just dying inside. I was just dying. But I, again, I got just this weird excitement from that scene because, as a horror fan and a young horror fan, I was like a teenager. Um, this kind of spoke to me, and I think that I was the intended audience for that first film, and so that sequence really sets the pace that you hope that it intends to follow. Whether or not it does will be revealed next week. But that specific scene is just, it's pitch perfect with the popcorn, uh, kind of underlying the level of threat. Like, it's very calm, and then it's more, it escalates as the scene
Mhm.
escalates. uh Steve's guts being spilled out. It's like, it's chef's kiss shit. And again, that game that Casey has with Ghostface, as it's leading into that. All of that stuff just pays that dividend of when the actual killing happens. Because it's like, it's setting a pace, it's building onto it, and it's piling on. And the crescendo is just that zoom cut of her hanging and her intestines hanging out. It works so well to me.
And yeah, I don't think I've ever seen the uncut or unedited version of that I believe was only released on like Laserdisc or something, which we might get into later. But I don't know. I actually like how it is in the movie now that we see it like on all the releases that aren't Laserdisc. If I'm wrong, it's just Laserdisc. My bad. But how it's sped up, the reveal of her body is sped up, and like there's frames taken out and stuff. I think it looks brilliant, and it's still, God, I don't I just love it so much. It's so visceral, and I just feel so like I feel so bad for her mom and dad coming home to that, and like how she almost made it to them getting home in time, and it's like just like seconds too late. She's already, she's already gone. He did hang her up on that tree pretty fast though.
Yeah, almost as if there
But
was more than one person doing it. uh,
is there two killers in Scream? I don't
I don't
remember.
know. Maybe. I guess we'll find out next week. For those of you who have never seen a single Scream film,
This is your first foray into the Scream franchise.
yeah, you popped this onto YouTube because you're like, I hear lots of things about this Scream. Maybe I'll check it out. Surprise! It's a Scream, baby.
It's a Scream. It's a Scream 2. They should have done that in every movie. It's a
Yeah.
Scream 3.
At least in two, they should have done it. They should have titled it, instead of Scream, the number two, TOO.
Yeah, why
Scream
didn't
2.
they?
Scream as well. Also Scream. I still know what you screamed last summer. Oh, fucking A. But we did it, man. We got
We
through
did
our
it.
top five. And I feel like
Yay.
we are of like minds in certain aspects. We got a
In
couple
certain.
couple blendies, but they were in different parts, so that works. But we're gonna get out of here, you guys. So to find out more about the Ghoul Kids Table podcast, you can do that in a couple of different ways. You can start by liking us on Facebook, facebook.com/Ghoul Kids Table, following us on Twitter at Ghoul Kids Table, on Instagram at GKT Podcast, and on the Tickum Talks at Ghoul_Kids_Table. Andrew, where can they find you?
You can find me on TikTok at Andrew Horror 31. Twitter now.
Ooh.
We'll see how that goes. I don't know. I said I was going to start posting, and I think I posted 2 things, and it's been days. So we'll see. Instagram, not that active on there, but sometimes I get the itch, and then it's all the same, Andrew Horror. And then Letterboxd, if you're into Letterboxd, also Andrew Horror. If you care about my movie opinions and rankings and occasional written reviews.
I mean, if they're listening to you now, it's kind of
I
what they're
guess.
doing.
I guess.
You
yeah.
literally just ranked
I mean,
things.
yeah. If you like this episode, go to my letterbox.
Go to his goddamn letterbox, you piece of shit. but yeah, going into the next 6 weeks, we're going to have a review of each of the Scream films. We'll put together a special folder of just the Scream films. So if you want to hear our takes on Screams, they'll all be in the one fucking space. And I mean, you could also just listen in succession. But either fucking way, we are reviewing the Scream films. We're going from the 1st to the 6th, which means I have to watch Scream 6. I watched all 5 fucking Scream films this weekend. And I have feelings that I'm going to feel, and you guys are just going to be along for the ride. So, Andrew is going to be joining me next week. Also, Jessica Death. It is going to be the beginning of season 3 of the Ghoul Kids Table, and we are looking at the Scream franchise to start it off. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But again, we're getting out of here. So for Stu Mocker, for Billy Loomis, for Randy, for Sydney, for Gail, for Dewey, for Andrew, and for me, again, my name is Chunky. This has been another episode of the Ghoul Kids Countdown. Wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube, there's always a seat available for you here at the table. Take care, guys.